Guys, we are back. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. As always, it is so great to see you. And friends, I'm really excited about today's video because we're going to be talking about minimalistic photography, which, although looks simple, it actually is a little bit more difficult to pull off, or let me clarify, or at least pull off done well. But with the tips I'm going to share with you today, it's some beautiful examples of some minimalistic photography to show you, rather, you'll have the knowledge, the skills, and the inspiration to go out there and create some really awesome minimalistic photos. However, before we get to the meat of today's lessons, if you can do me a gigantic favor, you see, YouTube's algorithm really likes it when you hit that like button down below. It tells that algorithm that this video is helpful. YouTube's going to share this video with more people, which of course helps us out a ton. So if you could do me a favor, please consider hitting that like button down below. It sure would mean a lot. That said, my friend, pull up a seat in. Let's go. Now, if you've been part of the photography family for any period of time, you know one of my passions, one of my loves is landscape photography. Now, landscapes are a perfect subject for minimalist photography because there is so much fodder out there with creating images that are calm, serene, and convey a sense of openness or solitude, which is exactly what minimalistic photography is all about. You've heard the term less is more, and minimalistic photography is less is more in action. Now, your minimalistic shots, whether they're portraits or landscapes or even a combination of both, should have a strong subject. Something that immediately grabs the viewer and pulls them in, grabs their attention. The difficulty of minimalist photography is that we're trying to create images that are stripped down to the very essential components of the scene. Now, we might use traditional methods of composing a great shot, like leading lines in landscapes or blurring out the backgrounds in the portraits. Instead, our job is to highlight our strong subject by using techniques that help us pare down, or par down rather, our images into minimalistic masterpieces. Now, here's a few tools that you can use to do just that. Now, one of the most common and most important tools at your disposal for minimalistic photography is the use of negative space. Now, negative space is simply open space in the shot that allows the primary subject to shine. By using negative space, we create an image where the viewer's eyes are immediately drawn to the subject, and there's nothing to compete with the subject for our attention. But doing so can make the subject seem a little isolated and small. By contrast, negative space can also make the subject seem quite larger than life. By using negative space, you can create images that are clean and have a very relaxed feeling to them, while also giving the subject room to breathe. In other words, negative space is the antidote for images that feel overwhelming or cluttered. Now, here's something to keep in mind. When you're looking for subjects for your minimalistic photos, seek out locations that give you a nice clean backdrop. For example, a cloudless sky offers a ton of negative space to serve as the background of your photos. Wide open spaces like deserts or the plains offer the same advantage. Now, guys, these are just a few examples, though you can have all sorts of other backgrounds as highly effective negative space, like a blank wall or greenery. One of the most fundamental photography rules is the rule of thirds, and for good reasons. It helps you create images that are balanced and dynamic no matter what the subject of the photo might be. Now, when you strip the images down to the very bare bones, the use of thirds becomes more important, because if you place a subject in the wrong place in the frame, a minimalistic image can feel completely off balance. So when composing your shots, remember, friend, to place a subject along one of the horizontal or one of the vertical grid lines of your rule of thirds. Even better, at one of the intersecting points of these lines, or where these lines connect rather. But also remember that sometimes the situations will call for the rule of thirds to be broken. Yeah. So as you can see in this image, the subject is not placed along any of the grid lines, yet the image still feels quite balanced. It's funny, for this section talking about focal lengths, I had vision to have a little bit more of a contrast between lenses, but my R6 here has the 2870, my R5 here has the 1535. My two other lenses that I have is a 70 to 200, and this beast, which is the 100 to 500. But the point is, if you have multiple lenses or even zoom lens, it's important to experiment with the focal lengths that you use to take your minimalist photos. Now, on one hand, Longer focal lengths are going to help you frame a tighter shot with the subject and eliminate clutter to the left, the right, the top, the bottom, and the frame. On the other hand, let's imagine this is a 24-70, but we know it's not. If you're in an environment that's already minimalistic, like for example a desert, a shorter focal length lens is going to help you maximize how much of that minimalistic surrounding you can feature in your shot. So there isn't a specific focal length that is best for minimalist photography. Instead, you're going to have to practice with different focal lengths to see which one helps you create the minimalistic vision that you had in your head, or which one works the best rather. Also, bear in mind that zooming in with your lens or cropping in post-production can also be very useful tools to turn your photo and might be a little bit busy into something that's far more minimalist. Probably no surprise, but the type of lighting that you use in your minimalistic photography or images will have a profound effect on how viewers perceive the shot. For example, if you shoot a landscape at sunset with a very soft golden light, the shot is going to have a light, bright, airy, and happy feeling to it. But if you shoot a landscape on an overcast day, there's going to be a very diffused light and the shot may feel very closed and really solemn. Of course, light has the influence in all kinds of photography, but again, when you're creating a stripped down minimalistic image, the feelings that different types of light invoke become much more powerful instruments. Now, when you think of minimalist photography, you probably think about black and white photos. And while you can certainly create a beautiful minimalistic image in color, stripping the image of color gives you yet another tool that gives viewers a sense of calmness, openness, and the serenity that you're going after. Now, when creating black and white images, you want to focus on highlighting things like forms, patterns, textures. Now, these features can replace the visual interest that color provides. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you can use color to help highlight the subject in a minimalistic photo even further. Now, in this example, you can see how the pop of color immediately grabs our attention. So we have two different elements at work that make this minimalistic photo a success. You have the subject is in an isolated negative space, and the red color of their jacket creates a nice contrast with the black sand beach that makes the subject that much stronger in the frame. I absolutely love this one right here, and perhaps one of the easiest tricks to creating minimalistic photos is to think purposely about the perspective from which the shot is being taken. For example, if you have a drone and you take a photo straight down, that top-down perspective eliminates the foreground and the background elements. Now, the result can be a flat image within which your subject can then take the center stage. Now, granted, you need the right kind of landscape beneath your drone to make this happen, but a little searching around will likely reveal plenty of minimalistic possibilities for you to photograph from up above. Now, another trick is you can use perspective is to get down low and shoot upwards. Now, this is especially effective when you're outside. Shoot up towards the sky and use the sky as negative space to surround your subject. And again, this just requires you to start getting down. A little while back, we were talking about seeing creatively and getting your head outside the box, stepping outside that comfort zone. So in this particular case, man, getting down on the ground, kind of searching around, you're going to find some really cool shots to frame up. So to recap, the whole point here is to simplify your compositions. Now, whether you do that with negative space or a pop of color or perspective or a focal length you use or another trick that you've learned is totally up to you. But at the end of the day, if you want beautiful, impactful, minimalistic images, the biggest task is to take all the clutter away and present a shot that is simply simple. Well, friend, the whole idea when I decided to do this video here wasn't to create this big, massive video and bore you all day long. I tried to condense the subject in a small, bite-sized video. I really hope the tips that we've discussed here help you create your ideal minimalistic vision. Now, with that said, let's discuss our current giveaway. Here are the prizes that we have this time around. We have an f-stop Talopa camera bag, we have a Rode Video Micro mic, and of course, the $100 Adorama gift card. As always, entering the giveaway is really simple. Step 1, like this video and subscribe to our channel. Step 2, leave a comment below. In fact, the more of our comments that you watch, the more of our videos that you watch and leave a comment on, the more chance that you have to win. So get watching some more of the videos and leave some comments. Step 3, register on PhotographyTalk and introduce yourself in the forum. Now, if you registered on the site during one of our last giveaways, you are still eligible to win. But as I keep saying, I keep saying over and over again, I feel like a broken record, but it is for a purpose. Swing on by, say hello. We would love to see you. Come post some photos up. Let us take a look at your work. Friend, that is it. For complete details on the giveaway or how to say hello in the forum, check out the description below. Good luck. All right, guys, this was a fun video to put together, and it's that time of the video where, of course, I'm going to ask you to do all that YouTube stuff that is oh so valuable to the channel. So if you haven't already, hit that like button down below. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video here, that would really help us out with that whole YouTube algorithm. And hey, we would also love to have you part of the family, so please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. And hey, you've gone this far, might as well hit that bell so therefore you're notified each time that we come out with a new video. Friend, I'm going to be jumping out of my studio, so you get out there, stay healthy, and find your best shot.